I think that was what made me do this stuff, was that in school I would fall asleep all the time. I literally wanted to I used to think about killing myself when I was really little, because I was just always dry-mouthed and tired. I was just uncomfortable. I wasn't personally unhappy. I had, great parents and a good family and even friends, but I was just physically exhausted, bored, and I'm like, I just want to kill myself. I mean, I'm only fucking 9 and this already stinks. And then
the suicide note, I can't take the physical discomfort.
Yeah, this just feels shitty. And I didn't even have a real physical ailment. I just didn't like being in a human body or something. Just fundamentally. But so when I started doing, all of a sudden I'm dragging video equipment around in the hot sun and organizing, calling people and getting them to meet me somewhere, and then half of them don't show up and you have to rewrite it, and all of a sudden I found something I could get into. So I got into the video, and then at night later into the stand-up.
See, that's another interesting thing about you. I think that a lot of comics are like, I'm going to work on my act, and I'm going to wait for somebody to come along and say, this is what I've been looking for. And you're the type of guy, you will pick up the phone and sell yourself.
Yeah, well, and also I'll just do stuff. I'll do my own stuff. Mm-hmm. And when I was messing around with stand-up when I was 18 out of high school, and then during the day I was working like full-time, and I'd gotten a job at a local access cable TV station, covering hockey games and stuff like that. And I realized this is going to be a long slog going through television to get to movies. And then I decided I'd rather do stand-up and let that take me to make a movie someday. I saw stand-up as a way to get to make films like Woody Allen did. That's what he did. He was just so funny that they gave him a camera. So I decided to try that way instead. I ended up going back and forth a lot.
So what took you to this point? Did you show up in New York with some of these tapes and your stand-up?
Yeah, I had a bunch of short videos that I'd done, and I was doing stand-up and around the time I started comedy in 1985. And the comedy was huge then. And so by the time I did stand-up in Boston until like about 89. And so I was proficient and able to nail down a decent amount of minutes on stage at a time where anybody that could do that could get on television. It was just, there was this need for stand-ups, and they're just being thrown up on these awful brick wall shows.
Yeah, right.
Just, you can know how to tell a joke without peeing your pants, just get up there, just do a set. And so I was like, and all of a sudden I was on 20 TV shows, and they were all horrible, and I wasn't that funny, but I knew how to do it. So they let me, so anyway, that kind of got me to New York with the cable shows, and I had these videos of short films that I'd made. And there was a show on A&E called Caroline's Comedy Hour. Yeah. Colin Quinn was the host, and they wanted to do sketches one year. They wanted to actually have comedy sketches, so they kind of threw out, the word that they wanted writers, and I applied for it. I had videos, basically funny videos that I'd made, so they hired me. And for the writing staff, Jon Stewart was the head writer, and me and David Tell and Susie Essman were the writing staff for Colin. Yeah, so we all did these weird sketches that nobody ever really saw, but I got to, so that was my first writing credit. That was my first time being paid.
And did you guys at the time feel like we're all going to be big, or this is just a lucky deal?
Yeah, it was just something to try. I was really into it because I loved, again, sort of like being able to fix the equipment. I knew that I knew how to organize and shoot stuff. So I would pitch things, and even if people weren't crazy about the idea, I'd go, well, I know a place we can shoot this, and I know a guy, and I'll just give me a camera and I'll go and do it. So they let me. And none of those things were funny, but I tried.
And then the beauty of